What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a dreary, rainy day, which is perfect because we're going to cruise to the other side of the Tri-Cities here, check out a park. I haven't been to it before. Actually had invited a friend to come out and check it out too. He's got a side-by-side. He's got a couple of buddies with side-by-sides, so we're all going to go check it out, see what it's all about. No one's been there before, at least not in this group, but stay tuned. Let's go have a little adventure.
Destination will be on the left.
Super fun start to Hover. Really wasn't sure what to expect, but these little hills were really fun to play on. Obviously, because it's looser soil and there's a little bit of erosion there, when people come through and dig them out, creates new obstacles every time. And each one of the hills was slightly different and just really fun to play on, both going up and coming down, just testing out what the WJ can do and how well everything was working. So what was really interesting is we live in the desert, and even though it had been raining for a week, it was very soupy on the top layer, so super slick. But as soon as you dug down like 2 or 3 inches into the dirt, it was all dry. So you would go through the mud and have it flinging up, and you'd expect to get out and see that the tires were caked with mud, but instead, they're actually all dry dirt that would just eject itself from the tread. So that was really cool. It made driving really interesting there. Oof. I don't know about that. Easier than I thought it was too. But we played around on these hills for a little while, and then we cruised up onto the ridge line, which was awesome too. I would say that there's like volcanic rock, kind of a consistency to those trails, so it made for a good grip even in the slick rain. A lot of sagebrush, tall grass, things like that. Very, like I said, deserty landscape out here. So cruised up onto the ridge line. A little bit of a foggy day, but even with the fog and the low visibility, it was a really cool view from the top. Stopped for a little bit, kind of checked out what we had up there, and then kept cruising up. So the trails actually go up quite a ways, and just took the side-by-sides up through there. Stayed warm in the Jeep, which I was happy about. I would say that one of the other things that I noticed is obviously the side-by-sides with coilover suspension and smaller tires. They're really set up to kind of cruise right along and kind of absorb those whoops a little bit more. And there's definitely spots while you're cruising through there that you really want to get on the gas and go. And I did, but the coil springs and shocks, the suspension on the WJ is definitely not built for high-speed desert running, but it was really fun anyways. So there's a couple of times that I definitely launched myself into the ceiling, but had a great time. Cruised around for a bit longer, kind of wrapped up the day by playing on the hills back close to the parking area again, then got back on the road and cruised out. One of the things I will say about the WJ is while it's not my full-time trail rig, it is my daily driver. I can go out, play around with it for a couple of hours, have a blast, and then still hop back on the road, take it down the highway at 80 miles an hour, get off, grab the groceries, and cruise home. What a fun day. Had a blast out at the park. Really cool spot. A lot of deep holes, big hill climbs, things like that. Honestly, I beat the crap out of this thing today. I heard a clicking noise in the front passenger side. Not really sure what it is, to be honest. When I was headed down one of the hills, the tire bound up and I thought for sure I'd snapped an axle shaft. It was a pretty good crack, but I don't know. According to the videos that we shot, it didn't break. Both wheels were still spinning, so but the Jeep did awesome. Had a great time with it. Met a couple of good guys that Steve brought out as well, Dean and Scott. Good time just out with the side-by-sides. Those guys kind of cruise through some of these spots a little bit easier and faster than this thing does. Saw a couple of Jeeps on the way out, a couple of Wranglers, and lots of people on dirt bikes and quads and things like that. So just a really good time. Definitely going to go back out there again soon. It's only about 25-30 minutes away from my house, so super pumped on the day. Just a good time. We're going to get this thing cleaned up at some point. I got some new stuff for you this week. I've got a couple of Toyota Tacomas that I picked up. We've got we got 2 lift kits on the way, but at least one of them is going to get a lift kit. We're going to do some wheels and tires on it. I'm going to share a little bit more about some of the things that I do outside of just, my own personal vehicles and my own personal hobbies. So I do a bunch of other stuff, and we're going to start getting into that sometime real soon too. But for now, I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if this is anything you're into. If you're into Toyotas, if you're into Jeeps, if you're into anything off-road, hit that bell notification. Don't want to miss anything we got coming up. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.